So, Omar, why did you decide to take a world literature class here at Hudson County?
Well, personally, I decided to take any lit class because I just wanted to have an opportunity just to write, just to keep writing and writing, just to practice writing. And then world literature was a perfect candidate because, I felt in order to get better at writing, I would have to read other people's writing, see what other people think is good writing. And what better place to do that in a world literature class where there's so many different types of writing, so many different writings from all over the world.
So, in our world lit class, what motivated you to do all the reading that we do? Because I know it's an awful lot of reading. So, what motivated you to actually read all the texts?
I think what motivated me was mostly that most of the literature that I've been force fed like throughout high school and stuff like that wasn't really appealed didn't really appeal to me, and at the same time I didn't really have any real desire to read or to really enjoy that type of thing. But now someone who's more interested in better communicating, being able better to write and stuff like that, I, I thought that reading the material would be good for me. It would help me to develop myself as a writer.
And what were some things that we did in the class that made the class more interesting or that engaged you with our study of world literature?
Any kind of interaction, all of the different things that we would do, like having a court simulation done. But really, the most stimulating part of the class was those thought provoking questions that really made you think about the things that you thought you understood. That's what really made the class the most interactive.
Hmm, I never would have guessed that. um, and what were some of your favorite texts? You know, we started with Gilgamesh and we worked our way all the way up through Shakespeare, and we covered a lot of religious literature. So, what were some of the texts that kind of stuck with you that you really remember?
I think, I mean, I'm a big fan of Shakespeare, so Shakespeare is one of my favorites. But reading the Bible in the world class was very different for me because I've never actually read it before, especially being from a different faith. It was very eye opening and very interesting to read it from a grown perspective.
And when we got to the Quran, and I kind of enlisted your help with that part because you're much more familiar with it than I am, how did you feel about kind of being the expert in the class in that session?
Well, that was really awesome. I mean, that it was wonderful to be part of a class where it wasn't just an instructor feeding you information that you would memorize and spit out, but rather it was an actual interaction between the student and the teacher. There was some kind of growth happening there. It wasn't just one-sided, do this, do that. There was thinking involved. There was benefiting each other.
And how did you feel about the amount of religious literature that we did and the way we approached it?
Mm, I didn't really think that there was too much religious literature, especially when you look at it from that kind of perspective, from like an analytical, literary perspective. A lot of the spirituality is taken out, and you're kind of looking at it more from just a strictly literal perspective. Well, what's being communicated? How is it being communicated, and how is it better or worse than other types of communication?
Now, if somebody asked you, should I take this World Lit class, what would you tell them?
I would tell anybody to absolutely take this World Lit class. If you, Even if you're not somebody that's a big fan of reading, if you don't like to be pummeled with books and read this and read that, I guarantee that if you took this class, you would not only learn, different things about the world, about different philosophies, about different ways of thinking, but you'd certainly come out learning something new about yourself.
And that's our goal. Thank you so much for coming,
No
Omar.
problem. You're welcome.